So let's talk about horror, shall we? Um, it's kind of hard to explain on this one because I'm actually way, way behind the curve. I can't believe I never actually heard of this. I had seen Ben Wheatley's A Field in England, which I thought was pretty extraordinary, but I didn't realize that he had also made a couple of other really good movies. And so anyway, I was actually doing research on another project, and I came across this movie that was name dropped, and I remember I recognized the name Ben Wheatley. Like I said, I'd seen some of his other work, and I thought it was pretty good. And I went ahead and watched it, and frankly, I was blown away by it. It was actually really, really good. It had all the things in horror movies and psychological horror movies that I really liked. And what I really enjoyed about this movie was is that if you go in there not knowing what this movie's actually about, it kind of throws you off because it comes across as this kind of archetypical road movie slash uh, kind of tough guy hitman kind of theme or kind of vibe to it. And now the movie actually came out way back in 2011, and I do remember that when it did come out, it did have quite a bit of praise to it, and it got garnered a bunch of awards, and Ben Wheatley was praised and all this other stuff. And this is a couple movies, a movie or two before he did A Field in England, which I think is one of his masterpieces. And then he also did recently he did High Rise, which was it was all right. It was it's kind of hard to do J.G. Ballard on celluloid. I mean it's been attempted before, and it's a really kind of tough endeavor, but it was still entertaining. It was enjoyable. I wouldn't call it a great movie, but I liked it. So anyway, let's kind of get into the backstory of this, and I'll talk about why I like this film so much. Kill List came out in 2011, and right now it has a 77% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now the movie stars, let's see here, the movie stars Neil Maskell and Michael Smiley, who are both pretty good actors. And I believe Michael Smiley is in A Field in England as well, because I seem to recognize his kind of gruff Irish, kind of that Northern Irish accent. So anyway, the movie starts off where you got this guy, and he's not perfect. I mean, he's got a hot temper, and he's probably most likely ex-military, probably some sort of special forces, special air service, paratrooper. Who knows? I mean, who knows? They never really go into detail. But him and his friend, who's played by Michael Wheatley, are both contracted out to do this job, and both of them they're basically contract killers. They're veterans that kind of ply their trades into other worlds. And of course, that's not a new theme. I mean, that's been done. That horse has been beaten a lot of times. And well, as the as there's little tidbits in the movie that kind of hint around that there's something going on that's just not quite right. It's not normal. And for example, when they're having this dinner party, the girlfriend of the Michael Bentley character or whatever goes into the bathroom, and she pulls a mirror off, and she puts like this bizarre symbol, right, that looks like something out of like maybe some sort of, I don't know, Celtic occult symbol or something like that, right? That was the impression I got, right? Well, every time they go to kill somebody, they get contracted to kill somebody. The person thanks them, which is really strange, right? I mean, really, I mean, I'm like, they're not begging for their life or going, "Oh God, please don't kill me," and all that stuff. I mean, they're, "Oh, thank you so much," and even the guy that he tortures, one of the characters tortures. I mean, even though when the other character leaves for whatever reason, he kind of turns and he's like, "Oh, thank you for doing this. This is I really appreciate," and it's really unsettling. And then right then something's really strange going on. Well, one of the characters, the Irishman, he tries to get out of it. He tries to walk away from it. Of course, they won't let him because they basically said, if you walk away from this, we're going to kill you and your family, right? So of course they're juiced into it. They can't. There's no turning back, right? Well, they're assigned to kill this MP, which to American excuse me, to an American audience, an MP is a kind of like a congressman, right? And so anyway, they set up and they go in there, and of course they are waiting for this person to come out of this massive house, and of course there's this weird occult ritual going on, right? It's like very like kind of almost almost Wicker Man or something, something really really weird, right? And well, the British guy, he freaks out and he starts killing people. So of course these occultists start chasing these two guys, and they go into these tunnels to get away. And the Irishman gets separated from his partner, and of course he gets stabbed, and he gets killed. And it so leaves the British guy to kind of fend for himself. So he gets out, and he actually makes it. Now his wife and his daughter, or I mean, I'm sorry, his wife and his son went to this uh, other location until the job was done, because she's at first you're kind of under the impression that she knows that there's something up about this. This is a high value thing, and she, she probably needs to get it just in case something goes wrong. She don't want to, she can get away or whatever. So they get to this house, and or he finds her at this house, and uh, all of a sudden when they're about to leave, he walks outside, and of course the car, the tires are they slashed the tires, so they're basically stuck there out in the countryside. And this former commando starts shooting wildly into the dark and stuff like that, and then he gets captured, right? And so he goes, and he's in this little occult like circle. It's got the fire, the fire's going, and everybody's naked, and people got masks on, and one girl's got barbed wire over her eyes, and it's just, I mean, just the typical occult setup, right? And so anyway, he fights this creature that looks like a hunchback, and when he ultimately conquers the creature, and come to find out it's his wife and his son who are tied up, right? And it's almost like a final test of loyalty, or final. I mean, it's a very unsettling, disturbing thing to watch. Now, the reason why I like this movie is because it really goes from one thing to another, because it starts off as like this kind of typical family drama where him and his wife are having problems, and they're having money issues, and he's a guy, he can't do simple things like go get toilet paper from the store. He comes back and buys all this wine, and I mean, he's a bro, right? Well, his wife, it seems like she's a nice lady, but she's got kind of a hair temper, and she's Swedish, and both of them have a very kind of rocky relationship. Well, his friend, who's Irish, also has a rocky relationship with him. They're constantly at each other's throats and fighting and stuff like that. And this guy, I mean, he has the British guy has kind of PTSD or emotional issues tied into his service in the military. And so that's the first kind of thread that kind of gets thrown out there. And then, of course, the fact that they're both contract killers. That's another thing. And the way it's set up is just like, they go to, they wear suits, they go to a hotel, they get paid, they get photographs, they get pictures, all this other stuff. And there's little hints kind of dropped about that this is all a part of a greater setup, some sort of weird Illuminati slash occult ritual. It never comes and explicitly says what it exactly is, and of course it really doesn't have to, because right at kind of the end of the movie, things kind of shift gears, and it goes from this buddy, uh, character study on a pair of veteran hitmen, army veterans, and their perfect contract killers, to this weird occult story, and it kind of works very seamlessly. And see, Dennis Whitley, or not Dennis Whitley, but Ben Wheatley, the guy that made the movie, he did that also in A Field in England, where he took the old BBC style historical docudrama, something like the Culloden or the War Room or something like that. I mean, all these. I grew up watching those, watching PBS when I was a kid. And but he took that style, and he just went into this totally like psychedelic, weird direction with it, and he did it in a very seamless, kind of very inventive way. But anyway, I definitely recommend this movie. It's one that really hits on all cylinders, and it really, the acting's pretty good. I mean, it brings a sense of tension, because there's something up, but you just can't quite put your finger on it, which is how these occult style movies should operate. I mean, it really operates on a lot of different levels, and you really the And you really get a sense that there is something in fact kind of afoot that just doesn't make any real sense. I mean, it's very kind of unnerving or kind of mind altering, if you will. And like I said, all the great, the Wicker Man and more recently, Hereditary and movies like that operate on that level where you're watching one thing, but you're also watching something else, and then you go back and watch and you see all the clues. And you're like, oh, okay, that it was there all the time, right? But yeah, this movie, I mean, it's really good. I mean, Ben Wheatley did a really good job of kind of seamlessly pulling all these little threads together. So, but anyway, like I said, I highly recommend this movie. And if you're into like kind of those weird kind of psychological occult style horror movies, and if you're into buddy movies and like contract movies about contract killers and stuff like that, this has that in spades, and it's actually it's not actually a half bad. Family drama. It's kind of in the more the BBC soap opera kind of style, but it's I mean it's watchable. So, but anyway, yeah, the movie's really good. The British guy's wife is played by a lady who was in one of Neil Marshall's movies. What the hell is it called? The one about the one about the girls in the cave, and it's really good. So, but anyway, yeah, most of the cast is really good. I mean, it's they're. I mean, I've recognized a lot of them. They're you see quite a bit on British television and British movies and stuff like that. And it's definitely a very British production. So, anyway, hopefully. You guys hopefully you guys will watch this movie. I highly recommend it. And you got any comments or whatever? Just leave a line below, and I shall talk to you later.